Hi, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with us. I'm Kat Shear, and this is a special presentation from Clydesdale Media. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone about our sponsors. RX Smart Gear provides world-class jump ropes, grips, and other gear for us all. Use the code Clydesdale15 for 15% off your order at rxsmartgear.com. Mobility Movement is a program that teaches you how to increase your capacity to heal, reduce recovery time, and restore your nervous system to peak health. Everyone gets a 7-day trial, and after that, our followers will receive their first month free when they use the code Clydesdale Free Month at mobilitymovement.com. And finally, C4 Energy, delivering the most effective, best tasting, and highest quality products. Get 20% off when you use the code Clydesdale at checkout at c4energy.com. And today on Meet the Athlete, we are chatting with Atlas Games semifinalist Stacy Loushin. Stacy, welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. You look like you're in an office. Do you have a real job?
I do have a real job. So I'm currently at work right now. I work at the Mayo Clinic, and I am a biomechanics research engineer, and I work in a motion analysis lab. So we can analyze the way people move. So we have the same technology that they use to make video games, and we can turn people into stick figures and then look at a bunch of stuff from there.
Oh, interesting. So I've seen like a pitching lab down at Wake Forest University. They use that technology, I think, for that.
Yes, it's the exact same thing.
Do they use that technology for like green screen, like movies too? I wonder.
Yeah, so like Pirates of the Caribbean, I think movies like that, Shrek, all those types of things where they can put animations on top of people. And so fortunately, we don't have that capability here, but we use it for just seeing how people move.
Interesting. So your expertise is in the technology of that. So you could technically like work in Hollywood or in other places. It doesn't have to be in the medical field, or in the medical field, just some place you chose.
So my expertise is more in the analysis of biomechanics. So
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, on that side of things. So looking at joint angles, the forces going through the body. If you think of pitching, the torques. And so I'm kind of use the equipment, but then take what that equipment spits out and then turn it into something that doctors and physicians and physical therapists can understand.
You ever hook yourself up and snatch and see how it looks?
Unfortunately, I don't think we can drop a barbell in our lab, but that would be something cool to try.
For sure. So basically, when I do my research, I start off on the CrossFit Games page to sort of take a look at who Stacy Loushin is. You're 28 years old, 5'6", and you're out of CrossFit Progression?
Yes.
Where is that?
So that's in Rochester, Minnesota.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I've been there for, I think, 4 years.
And is that work related, you being out in Rochester?
Yes. So I originally grew up in Ohio, lived there my entire life, went to college at the University of Cincinnati. And then when I was finishing up my last year of school, I accepted this position out here in Rochester at the Mayo Clinic. And really the town of Rochester serves the Mayo Clinic. And so the majority of people in the town live here.
Do you have a graduate degree or just undergrad?
I just have an undergraduate degree in biomedical engineering.
Wow. And you're doing that cool stuff. That's awesome. I took a look at your Instagram profile, and it's filled with, I knew you were from Ohio because it seems like you're a football fan and maybe even a bigger baseball fan.
Yes.
There's pictures of alpacas, there's fireworks, there's jet skis, puppy dogs, all that cool stuff. Talk a little bit about your athletic background prior to CrossFit, because I know you swam in college, right?
Yes. So I did swim in college. So I would say swimming is probably the sport that I've done for the majority of my life. When I was younger, I did kind of do some other sports. So I played softball and I played soccer. But when I was, I think, 11, I chose swimming as kind of my sport that I wanted to continue with, just because of the practice schedule. When I was 11, I started doing 2-a-day practices. And so swam all throughout high school, walked on to the University of Cincinnati swim team, swam all 4 years in college, and kind of had an abrupt ending to my swimming career that was unfortunate, but, those things happen. Actually was in college for 5 years, just based on how the engineering degree is. And so since I didn't have to swim my last year of college, I dabbled in some other things. So I ran a marathon when I was in college, and I tried boxing, found those things weren't for me. Boxing, yeah. And
like, did you get hit in the face?
I went into the ring once and I did get hit in the face because I feel like swimming doesn't really develop those hand-eye coordination skills.
I was gonna say swimming doesn't really develop your face.
Yeah. So that really wasn't for me. I loved kind of the environment, but boxing wasn't.
Were you looking for hand-eye coordination, or were you just looking to be more well-rounded of an athlete? Like,
I think just being more well-rounded as an athlete. I mean, for however many years I went to practice and was told what to do, I was kind of lost. And then, you know, I ran a marathon and it was great because there was a training plan and I followed it every day. But then when I was done running, I actually developed a stress fracture in my hip, kind of from running. And so tabled that. I always thought I'd maybe want to do an Ironman, but with training for a marathon and my body at that point wasn't really working. And so I just needed structure. And so boxing just seemed to have structure.
That is crazy. When did you stumble on the CrossFit scene?
Yeah. So I moved to Rochester and kind of did like the Globo gym for a while. I've always loved working out and I've always, you know, kind of went every day, but I just wasn't really seeing progress and I wasn't seeing results and I wasn't happy. I love competing and kind of with my end of my swimming career, I kind of had a sour relationship with kind of competing and sports in general, and I wanted a break. But in 2018, I was talking to some friends who belonged to the CrossFit gym at Progression, and so I went and kind of did their sign up, a couple free classes, and so this was right after the Open in 2018. So I didn't do the Open. And I knew that I would love CrossFit. Like, I mean, just the concept of it and the sport and the competition. But between 2015 and 2018, I just wasn't really ready to commit to something that I would be so involved in.
Fair enough.
And so I joined in 2018. You know, the coaches were like, you should just take it easy. You shouldn't jump into competing yet. You should kind of learn the basics. And I like to call myself a motor moron. Like, I don't really connect what someone tells me. I just can't do it right away. Like, it takes a lot of practice, a lot of filming myself. And so it took me forever.
More visual, less verbal maybe, or you need like hands on you?
Like, I just don't really think I'm that athletic. I just think I'm pretty stubborn. And so it took me forever to learn how to do a kipping pull-up. I think my first 2 Murphs, I did strict pull-ups instead of kipping pull-ups because I just don't know how to figure them out. But then I did some local competitions, and I did class for, I think, 3 years at Progression. And then I stumbled upon Training Think Tank. There's a few members of my gym who work for Training Think Tank, and I kind of did their online programming, and that's who I've been with ever since.
I love it. You actually have a dog, ironically named Kip, don't you?
I do. And, you know, that was not intentional. My fiance, who he does CrossFit, but isn't as into it as I am, really liked the name. And then I stumbled across this Instagram meme that was like, how you know you're a CrossFitter. And it said, if your dog's name was Kip, and it just completely went over my head. So that's
funny. Yeah. Kip or Murph. Everyone names their dog Murph.
Right.
You know? Our co-host Amy's dog is Murph. I have a dog. His name is Bumper. And he's named after the character from Pitch Perfect.
Okay.
Bumper and Donald, not a bumper plate, but you could argue that, you know, it's also named after that too. Exactly. So your first competition was back in November of 2018, like your first local competition.
Okay.
And, you know, if you're a competitor, we know what that feels like to get back into that space and sort of feel awesome. And it looks like your first Open then was that following year in 2019.
Yes, that sounds about right.
Okay. And then fast forward to 2021, you actually went to the CrossFit game or to the Granite Games on a team.
Yes. And
right?
so
go ahead.
Yeah. So I kind of did the individual scene for a little bit. And then kind of when the 2021 season came around, with the affiliate being more focused. We put together a team. It was me, Jeremy McGinney, Drew Weber, and Jen Geske.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we qualified. Didn't really know what to expect kind of going through the open and quarterfinals, but we qualified to Granite Games, and it was awesome. It was, 105 degrees, but it was an incredible experience.
Very cool. Did that experience sort of make you want it even more for yourself?
Yeah, and I love competing. I get extremely nervous whenever I compete, and I think I've learned throughout the years that it seemed like I would go into a competition and just be so terrified and not enjoy it. But
Okay.
really competing with a team, they're just so fun, and it's just such great people that I love competing on team. And, I'm honestly a little scared to compete as an individual because I haven't done it for so long. But actually our goal this season was to go team.
Okay.
Kind of at the end of last year, we learned a lot. We took away a lot of good things to take into training across the year. One of my teammates is having some shoulder issues, and so she got a procedure done in January, but the goal the entire time was to go team. Based on recovery times, it wasn't maybe looking like things were going to be ready for team quarterfinals.
Mm-hmm.
And so 2 days before individual quarterfinals, my team convinced me to do the individual quarterfinals. So I did them. I work a 8 to 5 job. Didn't really plan on doing them. So I did a couple of them in the mornings before work. So that 5 to 7 a.m. range. Skipped out on lunch.
Morning. Yeah.
Yeah, skipped out on lunch and did one over lunch, and then went back to work covered in chalk. And so, yeah, I surprised myself. When the first kind of standings came out, I was out of the 120 cut mark, and I didn't realize how much it bothered me until I was right on the outside looking in. And so
that's the competitor in you for sure. But
right.
Yeah.
I did them just because people told me to do them, and
right. And then you're like, crap.
Right. And then
but
the entire time, I have such a great team, and unfortunately it didn't work out, but I'm excited for kind of this switching gears and this new opportunity and see where it takes me.
Yeah, that's exciting. So this will be your first big indie competition.
Yes, correct. I've done a few local comps, and then I did one called Dakota Games in 2019, which is a little bigger. But yeah, my first, I wasn't really around for the regional era, and then the sanctionals I didn't participate in. So first big individual competition.
That's exciting. Let me just get back to some personal stuff. Who is Arlene? Is that your grandmother?
That is my grandmother.
Okay. Her name is spelled exactly the way my mom spells her middle name, Arlene, and that's an unusual way to spell Arlene. So when I saw that, I was intrigued. It's my great aunt's name as well, and my mom's middle name.
Yes, so it's my paternal grandma. Yes.
Got it. Okay. I love it. And you seem to be sort of your dad's travel buddy.
I am, yes. So my dad and I are extremely close. So starting when I was younger, we would always kind of go on these weekend camping trips just to local state parks in Ohio. And I think because mostly my older siblings didn't want to go, and I just kind of got dragged along. But I love kind of being outdoors, camping, hiking, doing those kinds of things. And that's just really grown and to these bigger trips. So every year I ski with my dad for a week out west. Unfortunately, 2 years ago, he actually broke his leg on one of our ski trips. But he was able to ski this year. So everything's good with that. But we've traveled all across the United States. My dad loves taking trains. And so actually we've taken 2 train trips across the country to Utah and Montana. We've been to a ton of national parks. We try and do kind of one big summer trip a year to national parks, and then one big ski trip a year. And then this past year, my 2 brothers joined us. So it's always fun just to be with family. And, they all live in Ohio and I live in Minnesota. So it's just awesome to be able to find time to get together like that.
Yeah. And you were recently engaged.
Yes, I got engaged.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And it happened almost a year ago that it's kind of like lost its allure. But we got engaged in Zion National Park, actually, in a hike called the Narrows, and it's a river hike. And so I wasn't expecting at all that he
Sure.
would, one, fly with a ring, but two, bring a ring in a river.
Risky.
But luckily, my fingers swell really bad when I travel, so that ring wasn't going anywhere. So we survived.
Oh, that's great. When do you have the wedding planned yet? Or are you still figuring that
So
out?
we do have a wedding date. It's February 11th in Minnesota. My fiance wanted a summer wedding in the beach, and so we compromised, and we're getting married in the winter in Minnesota.
Perfect.
And so we're just kind of going through all of that right now. I would say that I don't love wedding planning. So we're just kind of chipping away when we have time, but training's been a lot. And so
Yeah.
I would hate to say it's been put on the back burner, but it's kind of being put on the back burner.
Secondary, momentarily secondary.
Right. Momentarily.
Yeah, not a problem. So have you had a chance to take in some of these semifinals that have happened already?
Yeah. So, I've tried to just kind of watch them whenever I get a chance on the weekends. It's nice that they're being broadcast. And then I was able to actually go up to Granite Games on Saturday. So I live 60 minutes from the Granite Games.
Would have been nice if you went there, huh?
Would have been nice. But, I'm at this point, I'm not complaining. I was just happy to get in.
Yeah. Presumably you had a passport already and getting
Yes.
out of the country is not a problem.
Yep. So I didn't have any travel restrictions, and I got that email and I saw I was in Canada, and I said, let's go.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your strengths and opportunities as a CrossFit athlete. Like, what should we be looking for in terms of things that you're going to enjoy over the weekend of the course of those workouts, and things that you might, or things maybe that you've been really working on that you're proud to showcase?
Yeah. So I would say my strength as an athlete is really just kind of those low skill grunt workouts. I think I'm pretty good at turning my brain off and just kind of chipping away and getting the work done. And my background as a swimmer, I have pretty good endurance. And I've worked a lot throughout the past couple of years on my gymnastics, and I would say it's not at a level where I want it to be, but I'm pretty proud of where it's come. Like, I told you 4 years ago, I couldn't do a kipping pull-up. And I don't really, and to me, it's a lot of training to get a new skill. And so I think just kind of all those gymnastics movements, it's something that I've worked a lot on, and I'm just kind of excited to see where I am at compared to the field.
Yeah. Do you have all the events that are happening now?
All the events are finally. Yeah.
Okay. And when are you leaving, and who's making the trip with you?
Yeah, so I'm leaving tomorrow morning, super early, 6:30 a.m., flying out. I have really bad travel luck, and so I gave myself a day buffer to hopefully make it to Canada on time before the briefing on Thursday. And so my fiance's flying out with me, and so we'll be there actually for Wednesday to Wednesday. So we booked some time afterwards just to kind of relax and travel and, see each other, because I feel like I'm always at the gym. And then my friend, Jen, who was also my teammate last year at Granite Games, she's flying out and will be there for the weekend too. So it'll be nice to have some support, from my fiance who doesn't really know CrossFit, but then also some support from my teammate who knows everything about CrossFit.
So which one's getting your coach's pass?
I haven't decided that yet. So maybe I'll make them fight for it. Maybe they'll have to bribe me or something.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Well, think about who's going to, calm you down and, be the best for you backstage. And then, whoever screams the loudest should be definitely out in the stands, cheering you on there. So, or, who can carry more bags and who's a better timekeeper.
Yeah, that is a good thing to think of.
That's awesome. So the end of the weekend, what would you like people to be saying about you? Assuming we care what people say about you, but like they've watched you compete and they're like, wow, that's Stacy Loushin. She's blank.
Yeah. I think just watching me compete, I just think I want people to think that, I'm tough. This is a new experience for me. I'm coming in kind of as an underdog, just kind of being on the outside looking in. I just want people to see me go out there and for every event, give it my all, not give up, and fight all the way to the finish the entire weekend. And I think that my training and everything I've done leading up to this, I'm excited to showcase that to everyone out there.
Yeah. Could this be the beginning of your individual career?
I think so. I mean, I think life for me, it's pretty busy right now, pretty hectic. I'm in the middle. I'm getting married. I'm in the middle of a job change actually. And so I love CrossFit, and I'm hoping that I can keep it a major part of my life and devote as much time to training as I currently have now, because it is tough balancing a full-time job and getting to the gym. But I just kind of want to get through the weekend and take everything in and learn from there, and then kind of make my plan for the next year.
Perfect. Well, we wish you the best of luck. It's been great to get to know you, and please stay in touch with us. We'd love to hear how your weekend went and all that.
Yes. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate this.
Yeah, you're welcome. Have a great day.
You too.